So good morning everybody, and here we are. You can see the players making their way into the arena. There's Josh Kane and young Jake McCartney, and you can see the draw on the screen. And what an interesting draw this is. It's a very level playing field for me, this last 16. A lot of the big names have already gone home. Still some big ones in there, but the previous winners, all apart from Declan Brennan. Yeah, it's hard to call a winner from here. And it's funny because you look at every one of these games, they're really well matched. And any one of them could go either way. A real contrast in styles. Jordan Shepherd and Adam Davis. Jordan probably goes into that as favourite, but Adam is the kind of player that can slow down Jordan. Clint and Callum, quite similar styles there. An interesting match, that one. I'd probably just edge Clint, but again, you could never write off Callum. I mean, he was 6-3 down yesterday. His opponent, Chris Day, had a ball to go 7-3, and somehow Callum managed to fight his way back in. I think Chris missed a couple of game balls, and Callum ended up winning that one 8-7. He's a gritty opponent, and he's taken out some big names as well. Tom Cousins, he's beaten a couple of times in this event now. Jimmy Croxton against Dom Cooney. Dom's been playing really well throughout the event. So again, I mean, Jimmy on paper would go in his favourite, but very close. Jack Whelan against Declan Brennan. What a game that is. The previous winner against Jack, who's just been on fire. There's two players in the form of their life. Probably just edge. Oh, I don't know. I can't even call that one. Josh Kane against Jake McCartney, with the game you're going to see. I'm sure Australia's lit up at the moment, with Jake being on the main arena table. Jake played on this table last event, probably didn't cover himself in glory. He can definitely play better, and if he brings his A game today, Josh has got his work cut out. John McAllister, Craig Waddingham, another great game. John McAllister has been just growing all the way through these events. Then Shane Thompson against Neil Rayburn. What an interesting game that is. Shane Thompson has been on fire throughout this event. And Neil Rayburn playing on his home cloths, his home tables. Hard one to call. And finally, Craig Marsh against Carl Boyes. Carl was impressive yesterday, but Craig's been my tip for the event so far. So you'd have to edge Craig on paper, but Carl will definitely have something to say about it. Anyway, we turn our attention to the main arena table. Josh Kane is the man who has won the lag, and he will get frame number one underway in this last 16 match of the Supreme Series. It's finals day. We're going to be with you live with the action through to the conclusion. Finals due to start around about 8 p.m. tonight, so stick with us throughout the day. Should be fantastic. All the games just got underway. You can keep up with the scores on qscore.com. Just follow the links for the Supreme Series. The Supreme Masters is the name of this event. How exciting. Josh Kane, his debut appearance on this arena table. He's had some decent results throughout the events, taken some scalps, but never really established himself deep into any of them. So it's good to see him in the last 16. In winners qualification, he beat Neil Rayburn. In winners round 2, beat Oli Bell. And first round beat Harjeet Singh, another great opponent. So, he's had his work cut out to get here. Plays on UK Tour. I'm sure anyone who follows the UK Tour will be very familiar with Josh Kane. A young man with a lot of talent. How will he adapt to this main arena table. 4 great games on stream, by the way. Great games. This one on the main arena. Jack Whelan v Declan Brennan on table 11. Craig Marsh against Carl Boys on table 4. Jordan Shepherd against Adam Davis on table 3. Which one of those do you choose? Definitely this one, because you have my soothing tones to guide you through. Make yourself a Sunday morning cup of coffee. Nice shot. Tough this now. It's he's got a nice angle. He can just stun up into that yellow up on the rail. Problem being, a lot of traffic in the middle of the table. So if he comes up and stuns into it full ball, if he doesn't land on the yellow he's hitting, then he has no shot whatsoever. So he needs to be really careful. Has to play that shot. There's no other options available. Okay, he's decided that he wasn't going to move it. Too much risk involved in that. And he took his eye off the pot. I can absolutely understand why he didn't try and move the yellow. I think there was way too much risk with those 4 balls in the middle of the table. So he's just tried to drop it in and make sure he lands. And I think his plan was then to try and land on that yellow down the rail. But it's an early opportunity for Jake McCartney. Adam Davis has taken the first frame against Jordan Shepherd. Dom Cooney's taken the first frame against Jimmy Croxton. Craig Marsh has taken the first frame against Carl Boys. So the problem was always going to be this red to the right-hand side of that centre line. Obviously doesn't go into bottom right. Don't think it goes into left centre either. So it was always just about navigating position onto that. I think he's got a nice angle here. Maybe just a touch straight. He must have been a little bit straight. And he's definitely tried to come around the other side of the black to take that red. He's not come far enough. So it's going to have to be plan B now, and suddenly this becomes a lot harder. Needs to play the red to left centre, and he's going to have to come around 3 cushions. His target point, well, yeah, it's going to be the yellow on the side rail, and that is absolutely perfect. What a great shot. Judged that to perfection. As I say, he would have had an aiming point of that yellow, and just came up and nudged it. Slightly hampered. I think he can cue to the side of the yellow, but he'll be absolutely fine. He just needs to drop this in, and then he's got a half ball cut on the black to middle. Not the natural habitat for the Australian playing on this Supreme winner. Wouldn't normally play on these. They're not a table that's seen very often over in Australia, but Jake has taken this event so seriously that he's gone out and bought one of these Supreme winners and had it shipped over, and he uses it to practice on. He's got this cloth on it as well, so how about that for dedication? There's a man who's taking his game seriously. taking this event seriously, had a Supreme winner shipped all the way across to Australia and had it installed in, I'm not sure if it's in his club or at his home, but yeah, who would go to that kind of length? I mean, I know players that don't even practice for an event or don't even use the equipment. People who have know they're using the shark racket have never broken on it once before they turn up to an event, and this guy's had a table shipped over especially so he can practice on. So he means business. One of the best player, I mean, a strong contingent of players from Australia, and Jake most definitely amongst the best, if not the number one player. Good, solid break, well timed. Balls travelling all over the place, but he's gone dry. Awkward layout. It's going to have to go yellows, but it's awkward for yellows or reds. Well, I say he has to go yellows. He could opt to go reds if he wanted to. You could make a case. The yellow over the bottom corner pocket, the one along the rail, the red along the rail, he could play off that yellow and clear it out the way, but I don't think there's any need. I think yellows are just simply the better ball. That's not a good start. Just nudging that yellow up onto the top rail adjacent to the red, and he's already caused himself a major headache. Now the problem with that is the ball that he would use naturally to try and knock that out is the yellow that he's going to have to pop now. Maybe able to manufacture a yellow, an angle on the yellow just below to come up and try and knock it out, which I think is what he's looking at now. Looks like he's okay. I think he's just pinched enough angle. He's going to play the shot to develop. He wants to make contact with the red rather than the yellow. Much better things just didn't hit it thick enough. Much better things could have happened there by contacting the red rather than the yellow. You either take the red away and leave the yellow there, or you nudge red onto yellow, and as you saw, just a slightly fuller contact, and he would have been in great shape. As it is, it's got away from him. He's been a fraction unlucky. You felt he was always going to be guaranteed a shot with yellows to both bottom left and right, but the cue ball's run down on the bottom cushion and it's not giving him anything. I'm not even sure he can make a double hit. I don't think he's got a shot. No, he didn't. Just playing a shot to develop one of the bad yellows, knowing that he will probably come back to the table. Jake approaches and has issues all over. He'd dearly like to leave that red on the bottom rail because that's his key to moving that yellow. So he's just going to play a little containing shot. Where's the red going? Oh, that's fine. You could just picture that coming down a little bit further and causing Josh a problem. So what's his plan for the black here? Can't, I mean, he's actually got the perfect angle to try and move it, but you can't move it because you've got that whole barrier of reds across the table and never going to be on the yellow. So is he going to try and squeeze up behind these reds and flick it out? Or is he just going to, I think he's just got to stand up and try and land on it. Oh, he's looking at the double. Makes more sense. I did wonder if he was just going to try and squeeze up behind the reds and just land rail side for left centre, but the double, much more sensible shot. One of those, if he had the angle just to stand up behind the reds, he almost guaranteed himself a shot on the black. Even if he had nudged it out, it would have been onto top left or the middle bag. But he played it well, played the double, and nailed it. So, scores on the doors. Adam Davis has torn out to a lead against Jordan Shepherd, 3-0. Callum Singleton, 1-0 against Clint. Dom Cooney, already 2-0 against Jimmy Croxton. Declan Brennan, 2-0 against Jack Whelan. Josh Kane, 1 apiece, obviously with Jake McCartney. John McAllister trading Craig Waddingham, 2-1. Shane Thompson's won the first frame against Neil Rayburn, and Craig Marsh already 4-0 against Carl Boyes.
Third frame, Josh Kane to break. 1 frame all, time running. Extension call. Yellow's in play.
Test of doubles again. That one much tougher. It was one of those you almost need to play it with pace to try and straighten it up, but then that was really tough to judge. Horrible doubles there. It's almost one of those that you want to play the who did the double kiss, John McCallister, wasn't it? The famous double kiss back into the pocket. Jake using the big pocket, and he'll probably do the same again here. He'll play the red off the yellow to middle. See Manuel in the background. Michael Howard used to work at the club. So if you're recently joining us, good morning. I trust that you're well. You're joining us from down under. I hope you had a lovely day. Hope you had a great Sunday, just as ours is still getting underway. And you're chilling out this evening, enjoying your countryman in the last 16. Yeah, apologies. A couple of people saying that you lost the commentary. That was my fault. I was just I was sidetracked. Just looking at a few other things briefly. Bit of a busy morning this morning, trying to arrange a couple of things, but I'm back and fully focused. And Jake taking his chance. It's 2 frames to 1 to the Australian. Josh Kane is still early doors, but Jake has the advantage as we move into frame number 4.
Fourth frame, Jake McCartney to break, leading by 2 frames to 1. Time running.
So I notice a lot of interest in this game. If you could do us a favour and, firstly, a couple of favours actually. Subscribe to our YouTube channel. We've got a New Beard Productions page as well, so please do head across to Facebook and like the New Beard Productions page. And also, if you could do us a favour and like and share this stream. I know it's probably getting shared, gone viral over in Australia. Evening over there. But if you can share from YouTube, it normally gives you some options, or you can just cut and paste the link into Facebook. Just make sure everyone's aware that this game is happening. And also that the event's happening today. This is obviously last 16. We're playing down to the final today. Big chance here for Josh, and massive favourite for the frame, because even if somehow he does break down, it's pretty horrible layout for Jake. So again, he's going to be finishing with a double. This is what, the 4th time? 3rd time, sorry. He doubled or tried to double the black. Successfully doubled one and missed the other one in the last frame. not going to be trying to do anything particularly expansive. I think he's just finished with the wrong angle. Yeah, you can see there. I mean, it's still okay. He can run it. He can top it through off 2 rails if he wishes to. He can just stun back off 1. Yeah, it just runs it round off 2. And nothing much to do with the cue ball. He will probably look just to screw it back a couple of inches to leave himself the perfect angle for the double. Depending where the black ball is on the rail, really depends on where you want to leave the cue ball. Sometimes you want to leave it slightly high, sometimes slightly low. This one is left high. Sometimes you want to leave it dead straight. Leaving it slightly high just takes away any risk of a double kiss. He will want to get it though, because looks like he's going to be nudging those yellows out. Oh, he could avoid the yellows, and he made the black anyway, so no drama. And it's 2 frames each. Nothing between the two players. So, 5-0 now, Adam Davis. Declan Brennan 4-1 up against Jack Whelan. Callum Singleton 3-1 against Clint. Dom Cooney 3-1 against Jimmy Croxton. John McAllister, Craig Waddingham tied up at 3 each. Shane Thompson 2-0 ahead of Neil Raybone, and Craig Marsh 5-1 ahead against Carl Boys.
Fifth frame, Josh Kane to break. 2 frames all, time running.
Josh Kane breaking frame number 5, and he's in off. Referee calls foul. Ball in hand behind the line with 1 visit. So coming to the table is Jake McCartney, the head. He's 29 years old. He uses a Q-Craft Q with a blue diamond tip, 8.6mm. Achievements, 13 major titles in Australia, including the Big Guns winner. He's in the Australia team that won the World Championships in 2016 in Blackpool. Started playing pool when he was 12 years old with his parents, who used to run a local Ballarat pool league. By the time he was 15, he had the keys to a pool room and found himself wagging off school and spending his entire youth in pool halls and pubs. Fell in love with the game since he picked up a cue, and has no intention of doing anything else apart from playing pool. Parents were a big influence in his life. Lost his mum about 7 years ago, and she remains his inspiration. Her advice that he still carries with him today: your attitude off the table will get you further than what it will on the table. How true is that? Favorite Q Sports player, Ronnie O'Sullivan, a freak of a player. Loves competing, loves travelling, and just wants to be a good ambassador for the game. He said he had too many funny stories to tell, but he said that no great story ever started with eating a salad. Get a couple of Jack Daniels into him, and it's always going to be a funny night. Best opponent he's ever played against, Chris Melling. About 12 or 13 years ago. Played him in the last 32 of the Masters, and Chris beat him 8-0. Didn't miss a ball. His opponent is the young Josh Kane, nicknamed Kane, 24 years old. Cue made by Stanford cue maker with an Elk Masters 7.3 tip. That's a pretty small tip. He was the World Masters champion, Home Nations under-23 champion twice, Home Nations men's champion, and he was the England under-23 captain. Started playing quite late. He was started playing pool at age 16 after he went for a few frames with his cousin as a social thing, and he got into it from there. Greatest inspiration was Mark White. Favourite Q Sport player is Steve Petty. His aspiration is to become world champion and win as many events as he can. An interesting story about him is that his mum still cuts his toenails. I don't know how that's relevant, but there you go. Best opponent he's ever played against, Mick Hill. So those are our players, and they are locked together at 2 frames each. Oh, a little crane of the neck there from Josh in the background. Just seeing whether that yellow had come far enough to cover the path. Unfortunately for him, Jake can still pot it, and he takes the advantage 3 frames to 2. So what about these other scorelines? Adam Davis now 6-1 against Jordan Shepherd. Well, there you can see them on the screen. Jordan Shepherd would have been a lot of people's favourites for this event, and a lot of people's favourites against Adam Davis, but Adam's such a tough opponent, and he's always there and thereabouts. Already made 1 semi-final. He's hard opponent to play against, and the kind of opponent that I thought might just get to Jordan a little bit. Adam's sort of a slow, methodical player, and Jordan admitted yesterday in the interview that he doesn't play well when other people dictate the pace to him. But he needs to break free. He's the kind of player that still could turn that around, but he needs to do something fairly quickly. Clinton Callum tied up at 3 each. Dom Cooney's still ahead. Declan Brennan's still ahead. Craig Waddingham, John McAllister getting closer. Shane Thompson now 3-0 against Neil Rayburn. Shane is on fire this weekend. And I think at the bottom Craig Marsh was 5-2. You can still see Neil Rayburn in the background there. Shane Thompson's head, that is, just looking on. The bald pate. Break is currently dictating this game. Another one that goes dry for Jake. He would have desperately wanted to make a ball there. If he could find a break dish and just go 4-2, it just gives you that little bit of breathing space over your opponent. Gives you that, just that psychological edge, but it also gives you that little bit of freedom in your back arm. It allows you maybe to play slightly more expansive shots, allows you to become a little bit more invested in the game.
Yellow's in play.
Problem is the yellow ball tied up next to the red to the right of the white line. Has to try and move that. I think he's tried to leave an angle here, but he's got too close to the cushion, so I think he'd dearly like to come down table off this ball, but just can't. So I think what he has to do, play the yellow to top corner, chop the ball, come right up onto the top cushion, and leave an angle to stun straight the way down that right hand side into the red and yellow. I think he's looking now to see whether he's got the angle to screw back off the rail, but I think I prefer it the other way. Yeah, he was the same. He was running through. But little fluke. It's not done him any favours whatsoever. This yellow doesn't double. He has no shot. He had to get, knew he had to get the cue ball up onto the rail, had to get high. Both players playing just a containing shot, and it's a clever little shot really from Jake, not leaving any attacking options for Josh, covering both the yellows at the bottom of the table and just leaving this one yellow on the side. And it's hard to find a place on the table that's safe. I don't think there is one. It's going to be tough. Josh Kane. And that's his young girlfriend just to the left. So where did Jake get the nickname The Head? I mean, it's not that big a head. I mean, it's a fairly decent specimen. If it was a watermelon, it would probably feed a good family of 6. But you know, it's not. Nice, delicate shot. Don't think it's come out particularly nicely. Just needed that to travel another couple of inches. Is that the travel? Has it? Can you find the potting angle? This is tight. Yeah, it's fine. He's fine. It's amazing. Just change that camera angle. And you can see it perfectly. Great camera work there as well. Good stuff from the team. And that's framed to Josh. 3 each. Still nothing between these two. See Marshy in the background. Oh dear. We got to get that picture. Joe just sent me a picture of the reason why Jake is called the head. You got to get that picture on. I don't know how, but we'll try. That is absolutely brilliant. It's Jake when he had hair. My goodness me, what a bush he's got. Wow, no wonder they called him the head. That is some absolute spectacle. Thanks, JJ. So it's been a couple of mistakes from both players. It's up to Jake to take the advantage again. probably going to leave the yellow up the rail till last, as he only needs to drop it in to leave the black to right centre.
Extension called.
He's taking his time over this clearance, quite rightly so. These are really important frames. Should be fairly straightforward. Just a couple of shots that need cueing. Just needs to, well, he's held it exactly where it is. I think I would have preferred just to run through a couple of inches, but he's left himself a very nice angle. So even dead straight on the one on the red is absolutely fine. Just a trace aside to drift over to that side rail, and as I say, doesn't need to do anything with the cue ball. You can just screw it back 2 or 3 inches to make the black a gimme, and he should be making this on this table. Just about cueing. Now you see him put left hand side on this to impart the side onto the yellow, just to help it into the pocket. There you go. Cued it well. And again, retakes the lead. A lot of these frames are going against the break at the moment. Jake will break in the next. So there is young Jake McCartney as he looks today, and we can show you an image of what he used to look like. Now what about that then? We're not sure if that's Jake on the right or on the left, but goodness me, what a barnet. Look at that. It's like something out of a 1980s pop band. Looks like Limau with a really bad hair day. I think that's what Lamau used to look like in the morning when he woke up. Thanks for that photo, Joe. Brilliant. Just has not timed that break whatsoever. But he's got away with it. I think all the yellows go. Just about whether the one below the black goes to left centre. If it does, this isn't too bad a clearance. Yeah, I reckon it does. It's just overhit that one slightly. I think he was looking to land a bit closer to the rail so he could drop the one down the rail and then take the yellow just below the black. I think he can, yeah, the one below the black definitely goes. So from a break that he just really didn't time at all. He's still got a reasonable split. Just see the see the comments in the chat box. You loved a bit of that. Wow. I've never seen anything quite like that. We might have to have another look in a minute. There it is. Look at that. I don't even know what to say about it. So another error from Jake. Lets Josh in, but what does he do with these two reds in the pack? The other red on the bottom rail. Well, you can play a tactical shot. Just drop the red onto the yellow, pot the yellow, leave the cue ball on the bottom rail. Jake has no shot, has to play from where it lies. So, decent use of the rules to his advantage. But no huge advantage there for Josh. Still got those two balls tied up. Still got the black in the middle of that little pack. That's what I've just realised what that hair looks like. It looks like, what's those the big black there's a name for them. The big black hats that the guards wear outside Buckingham Palace. What's the name of those things? I can't remember what they're called now. The great big bearskin hats. The nickname came from Australia's best commentator on Cue Ball TV, Jamie Stevens. So that's where the name The Head came from. Adam Davis 7-3 against Jordan Shepherd. Callum Singleton, Clint Hanson 4 each. Dom Cooney 7-2 against Jimmy Croxton. Don't think many people saw that one coming. Declan Brennan 7-3 against Jack Whelan. Jake McCartney 4-3 against Josh Kane. Craig Waddingham 6-4 against John McAllister. Shane Thompson 3-1 against Neil Raybone. And Craig Marsh 6-4 against Carl Boys. So Carl fighting back. So the only couple of games, well, there's 3 games that have been dominated at the moment. Adam Davis over Jordan Shepherd, Dom Cooney over Jimmy Croxton, and Declan Brennan over Jack Whelan. Dom Cooney's turned up meaning business this week. all about the angle. I think he's perfect. Any higher, he might have been in a little bit of trouble, cannoning into the black, but he's good. Same as before, nothing to do with the cue ball. Black slightly tougher playing it from the rail. Oh, wow. Did not expect him to miss that. As I say, it's always just that much tougher playing it from the rail, just cueing the top part of the ball, but that was pretty much dead straight. He's left this a bit smelly still though, hasn't he? It's the angle that's the problem here for Josh. He could take red to top corner, but either way, I think deciding that caution is the better option. Just moving that yellow off moving the red off the rail. The only danger with that, I mean, he did have a clearance. He would have had to double one of the balls. But the only danger now is if Jake gets this one moving, then he could get lucky. You don't want to let your opponent back to the table unless absolutely necessary. Will Josh regret that decision? Oh, that's not the worst leave, That is not the worst leave. I don't think the red he's closest to cuts to middle, unless there's just a little bit more distance than we can see. Maybe from the overhead we can see. I don't think that cuts. I don't think you can get to the potting angle. May be wrong, may just be able to snick it in. But the cue ball's going to be running. How do you control it? I think he's playing safe. It's called his extension. Very lucky there from Jake. I mean, anywhere else. 2 inches to the right, 2 inches to the left. This would have been a formality. I think he's got to play safe. What a clever shot. What a very, very clever shot. Great cue ball. I think that's a way better shot than people would give him credit for. Yeah, I think just playing, trying to leave it as difficult as possible, give himself half a chance to pot the black, but knowing if he doesn't pot it, then he's going to leave a test of cueing for Josh. And even if Josh makes his pot, he's got no angle to get back across for the other red, so it's going to have to be a double. So he's going to take the tougher one. Well, that is a good pot. Takes a tougher ball down the rail, knowing that it was frame over if he missed it. He backed himself, cued it really nicely. And it's going to be 4-all. And Jake just can't put any daylight between them, can he? He's had so many chances to go too clear. And I hope it doesn't come back to bite him. Josh staying on his heels, Jordan Shepherd is fighting back. So let's just take another look at that shot from Josh. That's a tough pot. He's just backed himself. Played it really well. And Jake would have hoped to have got back to the table there. As I say, Jordan Shepherd fighting back. It's now 7-5 to Adam Davis. Callum Singleton 6-4 against Clint. Dom Cooney 8-2 against Jimmy Croxton. Declan Brennan, that one's getting closer now, 7-4 against Jack Whelan. John McAllister, Craig Waddingham 6 each. Shane Thompson now 5-1 against Neil Raybone. Goodness me. And Craig Marsh is 6-5 against Carl Boys, and Carl Boys is fighting back. Good stuff. I love this. I love this time of the weekend. I absolutely love the start of finals day. It's where everyone's in the money. Everyone wants. There's some massive games, and it's just great fun. Really starts heating up the comp for me. Love it.
Ninth frame. Just Kane to break. 4 frames all. Time running.
Absolute monster of a break. Everything flying all over the table. That is huge. 3 yellows and a red. 4 balls, could have been about 7. As so often happens when you get such a massive break, you end up going for the set that's got more balls on the table. That is no good. It felt like such a simple clearance, didn't it? And that one shot where he's been determined to go up table and take out the one stray ball at the top of the table. I'm not sure that was wise, personally. I know that players always want to play a certain route, and if there's a stray ball, they want to take it early doors. But I think I would have just preferred to stay in control and stay at the bottom of the table. That's a clever shot, but he still caused himself another problem. Now he's pushed the yellow over the red to that bottom left corner, so this is getting more and more difficult. He's just adding more pressure on himself. He's looking now that red to top right corner. Sorry, top left corner. Or just landing behind it for the middle. As I say, I think I would have just preferred to stay in control with the cue ball. He's overhit one shot, and everything after that has been more and more difficult. Now he can play this with right hand side, but I don't think he's got the angle to go up inside the yellow and try and land on it in the middle. I think the only option he has, well, he's looking now at maybe just flicking into it. I think just land it dead. Just stop the white. Always a danger. I think I would have just preferred to just drop the red in and leave myself a shot up the rail. Maybe he thinks it doesn't go inside that yellow. I reckon it does. I'm pretty sure it does, from where it was. I think he could have just dropped that dead weight. Obviously, he would have had to pot it over the pocket. It's absolutely no good. I think he's just made it harder for himself. Then he could have just dropped it in and left himself a straight red and back himself to get it. And I reckon he would have done. You can see Shane Thompson racking the balls on the table behind, so that's another frame done there. We'll see if we can catch who won that one. Carl Boys has won another one. He's now 7-6 against Craig Marsh. Horrible shot, trying to drop. Yeah, see, that's just no good. In these rules, that is absolutely no good. The only benefit is that where he's left the cue ball, he's not left it easy for Jake to play a tactical shot. If Jake could get through to that second yellow somehow and just drop the red in, just snooker behind the first one, but he's still got options for snookering. He's just looking now. He doesn't want to leave the one cushion escape. He doesn't want to leave the side cushion as an option. I'm not sure about that little double kiss. He's still fine. He's left the black in the way. This is nasty. The one cushion, he's only got half a ball to go for because the yellows are across one side of it. I think twice across the table, the black's in the natural path. Surely he's not left a gap to the side rail between black and yellows. Surely he hasn't left that. If he has, that's a massive mistake. He has, you know. Whoa. So, Jake doesn't have a free ball, but what he can do now is play the tactical shot again. He can just put the cue ball in between the two yellows and just drop yellow onto red and leave Josh snookered on the yellow, and he has to play from where it is. He doesn't have an option of a free ball, so he can't pot the red. If he pots the red directly, it would be loss of frame. He has to contact his own ball first. So I think order of the day, just pop the cue ball between the two yellows, or just to the side, so he's not hampered. Drop the yellow onto the red and leave Josh snookered. And I think this is just a lack of knowledge of the rules. I really do. I don't know why he's doing this. I don't know why he's trying to play the yellow, the bottom yellow. That's the ball he should be snookering behind. This is about the lack of knowledge. He's trying to play a skill, and he's missed it. And now he's in trouble. All he had to do was drop yellow onto red, leave him snooker behind the other yellow, and Josh has no shot. And he's just having a slap at it, trying to get lucky. And now Jake's put himself under all kinds of pressure. Lack of practice at these rules. Seen it so many times, players falling foul. He's just not seen the shot. Josh should be counting his chickens there. He would have seen it. Doesn't want that to drop. That's fine. And that is the danger. But what's he left? He has got the skilly, if he wants it. But that is really tough. If you're right behind it, it's very makeable. But when you're not, horrible. Is he going for it? Don't think he's got any choice. What a shot. What a brilliant shot. That is fantastic. He had to hit that absolutely perfectly, and he did. Super shot there from Josh Kane. Yeah, Wally, you're correct. No two shot. Look at this again. Brilliant skill shot. No two shots at any point in this set of rules, which I really like. If you foul from the break, if you go in off from the break, then it's ball in hand behind the line. If you go off the table, it's ball in hand anywhere on the table. And at any other point, if you foul, it's ball in hand anywhere on the table. One shot, no free balls. And you can, and when it's a foul, you can always pick the cue ball up.
Trailing by 5 frames to 4. Time running.
Be interested to talk to Jake afterwards if he wins. I mentioned that one in the interview just to get his feeling on it. He obviously hasn't seen the shot, otherwise he would have definitely played it. I thought, I must admit, I thought he'd been practicing the Supreme Rule, so I thought he would have seen that one naturally. But that's definitely cost him the frame. He would have won the frame, unless Josh had got very lucky.
Red to play.
So, Jake, having had probably 3 or 4 chances to go 2 frames clear, and arguably should have done, well, I was just about to say, he's looks like he's going to go 2 behind, but Josh Kane has underhit this ball, and he can't get through to the potting angle, and it's red. You see the look on his face. He can definitely turn it over, but the problem is he's going to be playing it with so much left-hand side that there's no way the cue ball is going to come down to where he needs to for the last red. He just needed to travel another inch, and it was just a simple stun into the middle and white ball across for that red along the bottom, but he's in a lot of trouble now. This, I mean, that's just careless. Just simply, there's nothing for it but just carelessness.
Time out.
So he's
Time running.
just asking whether that ball at the bottom's frozen, and he's literally just going to have to run off the side rail and drop onto it. No option. Had a double kiss. And, well, should be winning those frames. That's an unforgivable mistake. You can see he knows, shaking his head, disappointed.
Extension call.
I'll tell you what, we see all kinds of contrasts of games in the Supreme Series. We see games which are just break dish fests, reverse dish fests. Only 9 frames into this one so far, but I've got to say I've really enjoyed it so far. It's a couple of mistakes per frame from both players, but understandably so. It's the last 16 of the Supreme Series. This is a massive game. Clever shot there from Josh. And the reason I say, I mean, he could play the yellow and screw back onto the red and knock it in, but I think in playing the yellow, you would be clattering into it. That you wouldn't be guaranteed a snooker. See, he's seen the shot that time. I missed the yellow into middle. This is what I mean, it's come out okay for him, but as I say, the problem was he was pushing the yellow into the pack, and he was always going to leave Josh some kind of attacking option. And that's why I wasn't sure about it. He's been a little bit fortunate tying up the black where it has. If the black had gone open, then it would have just been one difficult pot for Josh for the frame. So a lot of risk involved with that shot. He's kind of got away with it. I think if he pots this, yeah, it was irrelevant now. I was going to say if he pots this, then the cue ball was naturally going to track across towards the black. Been a bit unfortunate to go in off, and again, a mistake is going to cost him the frame. It's ball in hand anywhere on the table. He's going to put it in bulk anyway. He'll play the yellow 2 below the bulk line to middle, and that's just going to open everything just for a series of drop-ins. And there we go. Literally, he's just going to work his way down the table now. Top left, top right. So straight black to the top left, and as we mentioned a couple of times, mistakes from both players, but doesn't that make for an interesting game of pool sometimes? It's 5 frames each. How this game we love, this game of pool swings. Jordan Shepherd, 6-0 behind, I think I'm right in saying. It was 6-0 or 6-1, now 8 apiece. Callum Singleton, 7-6 against Clint. Dom Cooney was 8-2 up against Jimmy Croxton, now 8-4. Declan Brennan, 9-5. Craig Waddingham, John McAllister, 7 frames each. Shane Thompson, Neil Rayburn. Well, Neil Rayburn's fighting back. I think that one was, can't remember. Was it 5-1? Can't remember. Anyway, 5-3. And at the bottom, and at the bottom, Marshy was 4-0 up against Carl Boyes. And then I think that one was something like 6-1. Now Boise is fought back and is 8-7 up. Carl Boy's showing his class this weekend. And my tip for the event is currently a frame behind. Craig Waddingham's ticked one over on John McAllister, and he's gone 8-7. Who would be surprised if Craig Waddingham lifted the trophy this weekend? Not many. Declan Brennan looking good at the moment, isn't he? Is he going to go back to back?
That frame, just came to break, 5 frames all, time running.
Josh to break. Back on serve. 5 frames each, makes a ball. Yellows. Yellows it will be. Not without their problems. 2 balls to the right hand side. They will plant. In fact, I think the bottom one of the 2 probably drops in the middle. He can drop in behind either. They will both go to left centre, so he's got options for those 2. The one by the black, just to the left of the black, needs a little bit of attention. Is the black covering the potting angle? I don't think it is. I think if he can get to somewhere around about where that where the red is, near the blue spot, yeah, you can definitely pot. So take care of these 2 top left first. Ooh, don't think he played to cannon the second yellow. I think he was playing to stun back onto the red to leave that yellow into the same pocket. That could have gone wrong. But he's okay. As I say, I think this bottom of the 2 yellows drops in the middle, so he's going to play that now. Slightly hampered. Yeah, and that's cost him the shot. He would be potting that all day and twice on Sundays if he wasn't queuing over the top. So, another mistake. way's this game going to go? I couldn't call a winner at the moment, I'll be honest. It's who's going to find it, really. If one of these players can just find that kind of purple patch, that little golden vein where you hit that little bit of form and you run 2-3 frames in a row, either one of these players is capable of it. If either can find it, then that's going to make the difference in the game. Adam Davis now 9-8 up against Sheppy, who's won the next frame. What a great match that is. That is over on TV table number 3, if you want to catch the end of that game, but rather you just stuck with us. Carl Boyes has won another frame. He's 9-7 up against Craig Marsh. Jack Whelan still fighting back. He's now 9-6 against Declan Brennan. Great shot. Really good shot. Still nothing straightforward. Obviously has to take the one to bottom left now. Tough to see. I think if he takes that bottom left and then just stuns across into the yellow, he's going to have the other red near the blue spot to top left, just like that. So he's got the one to top left, but again he's got the wrong angle. He can cut it to middle, actually. Looking at it, he can cut this to middle. Cue ball's going to be moving. If he was just a fraction straighter, he could take this red to top left and just run through. But he's going to have to cut it to middle. Well, that's okay. I was just about to say he doesn't want to catch the yellow, but actually that's landed really nicely for him. It's left him a good angle. The only problem is, again, he's slightly hampered. If he wasn't hampered, this would be really simple, just to pop the furthest one, top corner, and just screw in behind the other red. Slightly hampered makes it a little more difficult, so quite rightly so, just drops it in, leaves himself the tougher red to middle. Again, more angle than he'd care for. Cue ball is going to be running. He cannot hold. If he was straighter, he could just drop it in and leave the black to bottom corner. That is not available to him. I think he has to play the red. Cue ball across the side rail, bottom rail, and he's going to have to take a long black into the top left corner. I think that is the only option he has. No, that pocket's caught him a couple of times. Did what he needed to do with the cue ball. But the knuckles on that pocket have caught him out a couple of times. Really just needed to take care of the pot there, even if he compromised position slightly. Better to have a really tough black than have no black at all, because he's just handed this frame over. Carl Boyes is now on the hill against Craig Marsh. He leads 10-7. Shane Thompson now 7-3 against Neil Raybone. This will be the toughest shot that he's got during this clearance, and this one really is a formality at this level. And now it's just 3 drop-ins. Come off the side rail, trace aside. And that triangle just to drop down on the black. I think I'm right in saying that every frame so far, there's been a chance for both players. We haven't done the stats on this one, but there hasn't been a break and dish, for sure. And either frame, any one of the frames, the 11 we played so far, could have gone either way. Shane Thompson's won another frame. He's 8-3 up against Neil Raybone. Jack Whelan's pulled another one back. That's now 9-7 to Declan.
Frame, Jake McCartney to break, trading by 6 frames to Fry, time running.
Jake breaks in frame 12. And in keeping with the rest of the match, no easy clearance.
Extension call.
Carl Boyes has beaten Craig Marsh 11-7, having been 4-0, 6-1 down, something along those lines. He has completed the comeback, and the wheels absolutely must have fallen off for Craig Marsh. Adam Davis is on the hill against Jordan Shepherd. Dom Cooney is on the hill against Jimmy Croxton. Dom Cooney well, arguably, people would have looked at that last 16 and said, and probably labelled him as. I don't think I'm being unfair to Dom because I respect him as a player, but in amongst that field, they'd probably say he was. He would have probably been the outsider of the field. I think that's fair to say. But he's doing a job over Jimmy Croxton, and he's really meaning business this weekend. He's had a great weekend. Wow.
Extension called.
Really unlucky there from Josh to break those balls out and land there. Hampered queuing again. This has cost him a couple of times, but I fancy him for this one. Look where that black is. How many times has it been just situated around there, meaning that he's got to double it? Shane Thompson's won yet another frame. He's 9-3 up against Neil Raybone. Perfect angle to go up and flick the black out, but there's no way he's going to play it because he wouldn't be on the last yellow. Well, this is way too much angle. Do you know what? He may be forced to. It's probably going to be easier to use a fairly natural angle and come and knock the black out than it is to try and land on it as a double. Had he been straight on this yellow, he could have dropped it in and left the plant, but I think, well, he decided to come twice across and leave the double, but in doing so, it's cost him, and it's another error. Unforced mistakes in this match have been plenty, but Jake would definitely be looking at nudging the black out. And he double kissed it back in again. Now he's going to have to leave it where it is. Again, could use the rules to his advantage. If he pots red onto yellow and screws in behind the yellow on the cushion, the red on the cushion, he could have done that. Could have played it as a kind of 2-in-1 shot, as a kind of skill shot and a safety at the same time. If the white had been over by that right-hand side pocket, even if he hadn't got the snooker, there was no attacking options for Josh. But he's not seeing these tactical shots, and that one, I don't think that was a bounce out. I think he's just caught the near jaw. I didn't see it actually when it reached the pocket. I was just looking at his angle on the next shot, but I think it just caught near jaw, far jaw. So does he try to land on it, or does he try to take the double? It's come too high. It's come way too high. Needed to commit either way. Either play it harder and play it down the rail, or play it softer and have the double. And he's come in between. And I think it's too low for the reverse double. He's just got to hit it too thin. I think he's got to double it to bottom corner. And he does, and he makes it. Great double. And finally, we have a player going 2 frames clear, and it's Josh Kane. Here's that double. Nailed it. Middle of the bag. Didn't touch the sides. Now Rayburn's pulled 1 back. Let's go 9-4, but it looks like the writing's on the wall in that game.
13th frame, Josh Kane to break, leading by 7 frames to 5. Time running.
Declan 2 frames away from victory, but Jack Whelan fighting back. Josh breaks. A good solid break, and finally the balls come out a little bit nicer. No clusters. Reds would definitely be the favourable ball, but there's no easy opener, so I think he has to go yellows. I got a feeling he has an angle on the yellow near the pocket to come down and nudge the one off the rail. I think he's just got enough angle. Yellows are not nice, are they? 3 balls on the cushion. But unless he takes a really precarious red to left centre, then... I mean, the reds are dollies. If he had an opener, they're absolute dolly drop-ins. Mary Ploppins. Yellows has to be. He's played to land on this one. I don't know. Oh, he's going to take... I think he's going to take the other yellow as a double. I think he had an angle to move that one. I might have been tempted to move it. Because this one was easier to land on. So indeed, he's left the double. He's had a lot of doubles, hasn't he? He's got a nice angle to play the double and land on the one at the top rail. Only thing he needs to avoid here is being straight on the one along the top rail, because straight is most definitely no good. Just needs to make sure he's got an angle. Perfect. Are we going to see one of our first breaking dishes of this match? Don't speak too soon, Nick. did say when it was locked up at 5 each that it's going to be the first one who can just show that little bit of class and win 2 or 3 in a row. It's going to make all the difference. I did also say a few frames ago, is Jake going to rue those few mistakes that he made, those chances he had to go 2 ahead. This is the second time that Jake's played on this main arena table, and he's a much better player than he's shown. To be fair, both of these players are. They're both top quality, but it's difficult. All the cameras pointing at you, knowing everyone's watching. Sometimes difficult to settle, and this table plays quite a bit differently to the other tables in the arena. Remember, this is the first time that Josh has played on this main arena table, and only the second time that Jake's played on it. Where's the cue ball? It's just going to pull up short. Wow, he judged that well. Another half a roll. But it's Josh Kane who takes a 3-frame lead. It's 8 frames to 5. Jake McCartney to break frame number 14. Adam Davis is through against Jordan Shepherd. Jordan Shepherd is out of the event. Dom Cooney on the hill. Declan Brennan on the hill. Craig Waddingham on the hill. All these games getting towards the business end. Adam Davis and Carl Boys already wait in the quarterfinals.
14th frame, Jake McCartney to break, trailing by 8 frames to 5. Time running.
Adam awaits the winner of Clint versus Callum Singleton. Carl waits the winner of Shane Thompson and Neil Raybone. Jake's breaks still letting him down. You heard him mumble.
Rights in play.
Suddenly Josh looks a lot more in control. So the black is the obvious problem. And again, it's another one of those situations where there isn't an obvious ball to break the black out. I mean, he could definitely do it from this red, but he's not guaranteed position on the next ball. He's going to have to leave a long black. Does it go to middle? He's having a look to see if it goes to middle. If it does, it's going to help him. Whoa. Way closer than he wanted to be. And now he's just got no control over the cue ball. He's playing it quickly, so he obviously feels he can get down into it. This could go wrong, and it has gone wrong. This is, I think the only shot he's got is a horrible thin cut to middle. And it is a horrible shot. I mean, it's a feather edge. And where's the white ball? Hang on to your hats. He's called extension and stayed down on the ball. I think he has to get up and recompose. He's looking to see whether he thinks maybe he thinks he can play it off the red. Is that what he's looking at? Off the yellow? Is that what he's looking at? Yeah, that's what he was looking at. But, wow. Yet another mistake. A positional error that really, I'd be honest, I don't really know what Josh was doing there. He looked like he had a nice angle on his penultimate red just to play down onto his last red along the cushion, but just got too close to it. Awkward again, isn't it? Awkward again. He's going to have to lay a trap, I think. That's what he's looking at. Just. Can he see an edge? If he can see an edge, it will cut to top left. No. Jake has to take these out. 4 frames behind. That's the match for me. If he can win this one and stay in touch, then he's still got a chance. Big frame now, this one for the Australian. Options now. I think he'll probably leave the 2 balls closest to the black until last. Should be simple, but we've said that a few times. left hand side to check the ball. Only thing he needs to be wary of is just the angle. Better off with too much angle than not enough. The only place he doesn't want to leave it is straight. Angle, he can come to the left or the right of it. It would have been absolutely fine. That looks fine. That looks good. Naturally going to drop across. And this was a big frame for Jake. He pulls back within 2. Josh will be annoyed. Really should have won that frame. And there's a couple of simple errors. Well, it's been strewn with errors throughout. Let's have another little look at Jake, shall we? There's the before and after. Look at that picture. Look at the hair on the lad. I mean, it's no wonder he shaved it off, is it? Let's just let that sink in for a moment. I reckon his mother used that to clean the toilet with or something. So some of these games obviously drawing to a conclusion. Declan Brennan is through against Jack Whelan, he's won. Craig Waddingham is through against John McAllister, 11-8. Dom Cooney against Jimmy Croxton. What a fight back from Jimmy Croxton. That is now 10 frames each. Neil Rayburn's still there snapping at Shane Thompson's heels. He's won a couple in a row and it's 9-6. As this game is getting to the business end, a lot more interest in people watching it. Again, I would just urge if you could please like and share. Not always so easy to share from YouTube, but I think if you press the big arrow, it'll let you share. It'll give you some options. You can share to social media, or you could just cut and paste the link onto your Facebook page. That's all we really ask from you. Also, if you could head across, if you are on Facebook, then please do like the new Beard Productions page. Don't take it for granted that you're already on there, because we do have a new page. We had over 17,000 members, and we're now under 3,000, so there's a lot of people still need to find us again. Please do help support Beard Productions and like that Facebook page. We're going to be at Golden 8 Ball in just a couple of weeks, so you can get all the updates and the streams from there. Also, a big thank you to all of the sponsors, to Supreme Pool, to Strachan, to Aramith, to Shane Conroy and the Supreme Shark Rack, to Central Vehicle Leasing, to Jed Ronan, of course, at the Winning Post, and all of our regular sponsors who support this event and make it possible. Thanks also to Players Pool Events for putting on these events, and of course they do have their own separate Facebook page called Players Pool Events. So while you're there, give that a like as well. We ask so much. But the most important thing for us at the moment is just sharing this stream so people can watch the conclusion. Not being on Facebook, we're not always quite so easy to find, tucked away here on YouTube. So it's just getting out onto social media and making sure people are aware. Big shot coming up. Nails it. Absolutely nails it. And this is a really nice clearance from Jake, showing what he's capable of these last couple of frames. This is much more like it from him and both players. They took their time, but they are both settling into the game. And the head pulls back another frame. 8 frames to 7, just 1 in it. Is back on serve as well. He's got the break in the next. Callum Singleton on the hill against Clint Ianson. Four players now through to the quarterfinals. Adam Davis, Declan Brennan, Craig Waddingham and Carl Boys.
Frame, Jake McCartney to break, trailing by 8 frames to 7. Time running.
Jake breaks frame 16. Oh, would you believe it? Kicked in to the middle bag. He has just had no luck with his breaks at all. And even if he hadn't been kicked in, he was dry anyway. There was only one ball heading towards the pocket, and that was the yellow that kicked the cue ball in. Another one of those frames though, isn't it? Ball's tied up. Nasty clearance this is. I think it has to be yellows, and I think he's got to send the cue ball across table and try and break up this this little melee on the right hand side. I think he's got to do it off his first shot. Yellow to left middle and screw the cue ball through the gap of the two reds up into that little cluster of 2 yellows and a black, and he could open up the frame off this shot. Here he goes. That's no good. Well, I say it's no good. It's better than it was, but still very smelly. Could have come out much nicer. To be honest, I think he needed to hit it with a bit more pace. The pace he hit it, he was never going to get everything out. He always needed always relying on a touch of luck, but I think he gave himself a better chance if he hit it a bit harder. He's not hit this. He's not hit it. That's a foul. That's a foul. Now, ball in hand anywhere on the table is definitely an advantage here, but how does he break out that red on the right hand side rail? The trouble is with the yellow just below it, you almost need to attack it from below rather than above. If you try and screw into it, the red's just going to stay where it is. The yellow will release and the red will stay where it is. It almost feels like he should be potting the one just to the side of the white line, pot that to bottom right corner and screw back into the yellow from behind. Okay, he played it well. I was going to say there was always a danger that that one wouldn't come out, but he played it really well. Played it hard enough to make sure it came out. Big advantage being able to have cue ball anywhere on the table. So, as I say, he could have just potted the one to the right of the white line and attacked that red from below. He's overhit this one from where he wanted to be, but he, as always, if you play into an area, you're going to have options. He's straight on this one to the corner. He's just got the wrong angle on the one to the middle. You just feel like I think he's tried to screw back and put the yellow in the middle and leave himself on the red top corner. I was just about to say, it feels like this could go wrong. And it is, slowly but gradually, it's just running out of position. You feel like there's another mistake in him. Even now, it's still just awkward. Another 3-4 inches of pace, and he was in absolutely perfect position. Now he has to play this one along the bottom rail, which is tough in its own. Just gets harder and harder, doesn't it? He's never been in position. We said about how well all of these players were matched, and just look at these comebacks. I mean, Sheppy was like 6-0 down. Okay, he didn't eventually win, but he came back to 8 each. Craig Marsh was 5-0 up and has lost 11-7 to Carl Boyd. So Carl's won that 11-2. Dom Cooney was 8-3 up, and he's lost the decider to Jimmy Croxton 11-10. Declan Brennan has really looked to be the only player that's cruised through. Craig Waddingham as well. He's I think he was always in charge of that game. He's won that 11-8. Yeah. Declan was had a good lead before Jack came back at him, but you got to say, Declan's going to be amongst the favourites. He knows how to win it, doesn't he? He knows how to win it. That was a nice clearance in the end from Jake. Very good black. As I say, he was never in control. Always the cue ball was just eluding him, just getting away. But finished nicely, and it's 8 frames each. Shane Thompson, who was 6-1 up against Neil Raybone, or 5-1 up against Neil Raybone, now 9-7. I think he was 9-3 actually. So Neil's won 4 on the spin there. Nobody having it their own way. But you would expect it in this evenly matched contest. Adam Davis will be playing Callum Singleton. Your arena game next up is going to be Jimmy Croxton against Declan Brennan. I hear a little cheer from the Irish contingent. They're going to be able to watch Declan Brennan. Declan, of course, is the reigning champion. He won event 1, and he'll be looking to go back to back, showing his class. Declan was pushed into the losers section in his second match. In his first match he beat Jamie Mantle 11-0. Then he had a forfeit in his first round winners. Then he lost against Chris Day in winners round 2, went into the losers section where he beat the Tower, Lee Clough. Then he beat John Rowe 8-1. Not many people beat John Rowe. To that point, John Rowe, he barely lost a frame. And then he beat Greg Batten. And now he's beaten Jack Whelan. And he's going to have Jimmy Croxton up next. And I guess on paper, a lot of people would have him favourite against Jimmy. So who put it against Declan to go back to back? Well, what a rich vein of form he's in at the moment. Good to see young Callum Singleton in the business end. I was talking to him last night after he should have lost to Chris Day. He came away from the table and he was literally, how on earth have I won that? Chris has let him in time and time again, and it should have been 7-3 behind. Should have lost 8-6. Chris missed the black, and he'd missed a chance before that as well. Anyway, Callum came away and he said, well, you never know, sometimes when that happens, your name's written on it. You wouldn't put it past him. He won the Hearts Tour recently, which is no mean feat. Another little mistake here from Jake. I think he was trying to spin him below that yellow. Don't know what he's got here. Does his red pass into bottom left? I think it does. Yeah, you can see there. So he should still be okay. Lovely little nudge into the red and yellow to leave himself absolutely perfect. He can now just play a little stun run through into the gap, just somewhere in line with the top spot at the top of that line would be perfect. Maybe just an inch below that. So a little stun run through. Yeah, along that line, that's exactly the line I mentioned. Right in line with that top spot. So now you can drop this in the middle, run through about 2 inches to leave a very simple finish. Screw back just top side of the red. On the blue spot would be perfect. He's under hit it, quit on it. That's a really, really bad error. I mean, look at the look on his face. I mean, what has happened there? I I don't think that was a bad contact. I think he's just quit on the shot. He's just got such a margin of error as well. He could have, I mean, high would have been fine. He was just trying to land to precision. Like, you know, if you land on the blue spot, it's literally drop the red in, run through an inch, and you're perfect on the black. But he could have, he could have landed on the yellow and just dropped through and had the black in the middle. Such a massive margin of error. Wow, what a good shot. What a great recovery. Yeah, to have the composure to put that mistake behind you. So, just needs to take a big breath and nail this black. And he does. And he takes the lead 9-8. And is that 4 on the bounce? I think it is. 4 on the bounce for Jake. Now the frames are coming in clusters. Wow. David Revere asking what the point of the fingerless gloves are from the refs. There was a couple of reasons actually. They tried using fingered gloves, and obviously they couldn't pick up the shark rack. So the referees still found that they wanted to clean the ball when they pick it up and use the gloves to clean the ball. And also it can get a little bit cold in the arena sometimes, so the refs were getting cold hands. So they developed this fingerless glove, which was trying to do a little bit of the best of both worlds. Gone, obviously, in off there for Jake, and that was a big break for him. But yeah, that was the reason for them. It was just a compromise, just to try and, otherwise they got to take the glove off every time to pick up the rack. Poor shot again from Josh. Mr. Cannon. Needs to, he's got an angle here to try again. Makes the cannon, but the question is whether the red goes above those two yellows. My instinct says that it probably does. Doesn't look like it from these angles, but when you look at the overhead, it changes the perspective. Well, it clearly did go, but he's missed it. So, again, we look at the layout. It's not great, but it's not quite as bad as it may seem. You can use the yellow to the right, just above the bulk line, to get into those two, the little cluster of two and the red in bulk area. I think he just needs to cue this one, screw back just above the centre line, maybe a foot above the centre line, leave himself a double next. Double the ball to the left hand side that's closest to us. But that depends on some really nice cueing of this shot. Ended up topping it through. I think probably just taking his medicine and leaving that yellow I mentioned longer. He did actually leave a nice angle on that to go into that cluster. Obviously missed the ball. I think Josh has got an angle on red to right centre. I think he similarly needs to go into that cluster. I don't think there's anywhere on the table that he can pot that red from, so that's no good. Surely not looking at the skill shot, is he? I mean, he played a really, really tough skill shot earlier on. This one, even more difficult. But I guess in his mind, he can play it as a kind of 2-in-1 shot, knowing that if he misses it, he may well get back to the table, because Jake's still got a couple of balls tied up. And if he gets it, it could be frame. But that is one of the toughest skill shots you'd ever want to play. Here we go. No, he didn't play it as a skill shot. He just played it as a tactical shot, loss of turn shot, just to pop the ball over the pocket. If you look at Josh's body language, as we did then, I think you can just see a little bit of negativity creeping in. He's lost 4 frames on the trot, and suddenly this match has a very, very different complexion to it. I think Jake can play the double on the yellow and kick the yellow up towards that right hand pocket. He may be able to nudge the red to the side. This could come out really well, but it hasn't. He's been unlucky there. That could have come out so much better. I think he's still got a shot. I think the top yellow, he can get through to the top yellow and pot it and come off the top rail and nudge them apart again. Just flicked it out. Still not good, is it? Huge frame this is. I say a little bit of negative body language from Josh a second ago. But if he can win this frame, all of that will drain from his body. And you feel that whoever wins this frame is going to be a big favourite for the match. Jake, obviously, because he's going to be on the hill, and Josh's head might drop. If Josh can win it, he'll feel like he's got out of jail, and it's going to be his break in the next, and he will go massive favourite. What a pot, and what a great shot, what a great positional shot, really good cue ball control, and still a tricky little yellow into the middle, but doesn't have to do anything with the cue ball. Cue ball's going to naturally drop down for the last yellow. That should win in the frame. Yeah. Perfect on this yellow to stand across for the black in the same pocket. And what a good performance this has been from Jake McCartney to turn this game around. It looked like it was curtains for him at one point. Looks like he was stuck with his feet in treacle, but look at that body language now. He is absolutely raring. Smile on his face. The difference now between these two players, he'll be going to the bathroom with a smile on his face. Josh will be going in there just to settle himself down and try and recompose himself. Massive difference between these two players now. 10 frames to 8.
Frame, Josh Kane to break, trailing by 10 frames to 8. Time running.
So, Jake in a must-win frame. He gets the first job done, which is making a ball. Callum Singleton on the left, already through. Yellows look good here, don't they? Win this frame. Apply some pressure to Jake. If he makes a mistake in the last, then you've got the break in the decider. That's all Josh can do at the moment. Just think positively that he's going to get back and have a chance. Shane Thompson is now on the hill, but Neil Rayburn, what a batter he is. 10-9. Digging in. Already through the games we know of, Adam Davis will play Callum Singleton. Jimmy Croxton will play Declan Brennan on the main arena table. Craig Waddingham awaits the winner of this game. Carl Boys awaits the winner of Shane Thompson and Neil Rayburn. Sorry. So a bit of confusion there because yeah, it was just a tiny delay. There was a bit of confusion with the timer. I think the ref thought that Josh had used his extension. Yeah, so the referee thought that Josh used his extension, and when he called extension, they said that you've already used it, so he had to play his shot really quickly. So the lead referee just going explaining to the players that the balls need to be returned to where they were. They're just going to agree between themselves. As I say, just some confusion over the clock. I think they hit the extension button by mistake, thinking that Josh had called it. He hadn't called it, and when he did call it, they said you've already used it, which made him rush into the shot because he didn't want to get a time foul. Obviously, couldn't happen at a worse time. So it's going to take a couple of seconds now just to reset the balls where they were. Obviously Josh has just tried to play it down the bottom corner and missed it, so there's only two balls that need to move. That's the cue ball and the yellow ball, so we've just got the image. We're just going to replace the balls back to where they were. And I think that's the right play. People make mistakes, it happens, and we just move forward with it. And as I say, I think this is the right decision. As long as all the players are in agreement. It was a mistake from the referee. She went out, spoke to both the players. Both the players were happy with the resolution, so we move on from there.
Tell her to come in and check it in here before she continues. Or check it on your... I can't...
Give me a second to reset the system.
Just don't press that extension button until I say it. She should use the stopwatch now.
Someone's saying the second mistake the ref has made. Actually, the ref didn't make that mistake. It was the timer, who's a different person. That it happens. We're all humans. If you've gone through your day job without making a mistake once, then well done to you.
Someone bring my phone.
I seriously don't understand why people are getting heated over what's going on here. Both the players are happy. The referee's happy. So I don't really understand why anybody else would have an issue with it. So let's just put it to bed and we move on. I think sometimes a little bit of discretion has to be used. So Josh does exactly what he needs to do, wins that frame, and 10 frames to 9. Jake has the break in the next. This match is in his hands. I believe, I don't know for certain, but I heard that the Shane Thompson-Neil Rayburn game is actually 10 apiece, but they haven't updated the score yet. So I wouldn't swear to that, because I'm not across that side of the table. So, wow, look at this. The most important break for Jake, and he's gone dry. His break has really let him down in this match so far.
Extension called. in play.
Tricky. Red and yellow tied up on the side rail. Doesn't double. It's going to have to develop it. The problem with that, which board you use to develop it, I think he's trying to land on the one that he's closest to, just to the left of the cue ball now, with an angle to go up and nudge it out, but he didn't get that angle. And he has an angle now. He can play the one to top right, come back across the table, but this could still go very wrong. Great shot. That really did need some good cueing, and it's come out beautifully well. What a great shot. Oh no. What? You can't believe he's missed that. That was frame ball. It was just plain sailing if he pots that. And what's he left? He's left a skill shot to top left, which isn't that difficult. Well, what do you do here? It's the opener that's the problem. You've either got an opener, which is a skill shot to top left. He's slightly hampered by the black, which does make it a little bit harder. He's got a thin cut to top right, or a horrible ball down the rail to bottom right. None of them look good, and he's against the clock now. He's had his extension. He's going to have to play the skill. Gets it. So the baton is handed back to Jake McCartney. Josh Kane had his chance. Will he get another? This is a very, very tough clearance. But he would take the opportunity. He's happy to be at the table. The clock is ticking. Always pressure on when the referee starts that countdown. You can hear that voice. The seconds counting down, you know you've got to pull the trigger. Just adds that little level of difficulty. Now he's got to play a tricky double from off the rail. Oh wow. I mean, that's missed by some margin. Seemed to throw his elbow at that one. What a chance now for Josh Kane to draw things level. And the score has been corrected in that other game. Shane Thompson, Neil Raybone is now Hill. Fight backs all over the place today. Carl Boyes, massive fight back against Craig Marsh. Neil Raybone, a huge fight back against Shane Thompson. I think he was 8-2, definitely 9-3. Now 10 each. Josh Kane fighting back against Jake McCartney. The simple black to put another game at Hill. Dom Cooney was a country mile ahead of Jimmy Croxton. That was another one that was around about 8-2. Jimmy Croxton won 11-10. Jordan Shepherd started snapping at Adam Davis's heels, having been 6-0 down. Brought it back to 8-all, but ultimately lost 11-8. So comebacks all over the shop. Pendulum swings back in favour of Josh Kane. He will break the deciding frame. Jake McCartney will just be hoping for a chance. Josh will be hoping for a big split. You can see Shane Thompson in the background in the deciding frame. He's at the table. He's gone dry. He's gone dry. And Reds look okay. Shane Thompson's won. He has beaten Neil Raybone 11 frames to 10. He won the decider. So Shane Thompson comes through a nervy, gritty affair. And he cements his place in the last 8. Can Jake McCartney take his chance? This is a tough finish from here. Yellows are the better ball. The red adjacent to the yellow is the trickiest one of the lot. So he has got a thin cut on a yellow, which is what he's decided to take. The problem with that shot, he was naturally going to careen into the yellow that was over the middle bag, and he's pushed that safe onto the side rail. And what's he got available to him here? He's got a half ball to bottom right. He's got a half ball to top right. Nothing's ever easy, is it? I feel nervous for him. Can't imagine how he feels. Another unwanted nudge. Another ball has been pushed safe. Now that yellow only goes into top left. Can he take the double now? Is it on? I think the red might just be in the way. Sorry, the yellow in the middle of the table might just be in the way. If that went, it would be absolutely perfect because he could just go up. He could stun into the red and leave the yellow into the opposite, into the right centre. As I say, I don't think it's on. How's this looking? He's tried to come out for the double, and he's not got the angle. Or has he actually? No, he can't have tried for the double. This gets harder and harder. He's got a long yellow, but it's hampered cueing. Basically, he said, I can't clear it. I'm not going to go for some ridiculous shot and just hand the frame over. There you go, Josh. You've got to earn it. He is basically throwing the gauntlet down and saying, I don't fancy you to clear from here. But that's pretty much all he could do. Josh said, nor me. Has he left this? Has he left this plant? Can he hit the outside edge of the yellow onto the red to plant the yellow in the middle bag? He's looking at where the other yellow's going to track. I think this goes. I think he's already made his decision that this goes. Made it. How's it landed? It's okay. He will definitely take that. Just a little awkward. I mean, obviously that red going over the top pocket is not ideal. There's a red in the way of the natural path. And that middle bag looms large on the right hand side. Needs that to slow down. Well, it's all about holding his nerve. All about this shot. Can he hold his composure under normal circumstances? He's potting this 100 out of 100, but these are not normal circumstances. He needs to get a move on with this shot. He doesn't want to be playing this under the pressure of the time. Nailed it. Cue ball's perfect. And Jake McCartney with this simple black ball to round off a thrilling match. Wow, that one could have gone either way. Hats off to both players for a great match, a great spectacle. Mistakes from both, but well. What a great game to watch. I'll tell you what, we talk about all these dish fests, but there's nothing beats the excitement of a game where players are making mistakes. The Australian takes the spoils. He walks away from the game the winner and goes through to the final 8. That 8 is now decided. It's going to be Adam Davis against Callum Singleton, Jimmy Croxton against Declan Brennan, Jake McCartney against Craig Waddingham, and Shane Thompson against Carl Boys. We'll be live with that quarter-final. After we've been across, we're going to do some interviews in the interview room. I'll speak to you shortly. So I'm joined by Jake McCartney and Declan Brennan. I don't know about you, Jake. I'm out of breath after that one.
So am I. It's tough out there.
What a game! I mean, that's just swung either way. Early doors, you had so many chances to pull two ahead, but I mean, it was an error-strewn game. You obviously both took a long time to settle into it, but then he nailed 3 back to back, and then you hit 4, and that kind of period seemed to just win it for you.
Yeah, I remember I was 8-5 down. I knew I'd made some errors, and I was a little frustrated just sitting there, but I just sort of thought, stick to me guns, and then I think he missed a black or somewhere there, missed a ball, and then I think I strung a couple together, and then obviously it's 8-all, and then, you know, everyone's human, you know, you're going to feel it out there regardless.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah, I was probably fortunate to get the win, but anyway, I'll take it and move on.
You just wanted a chance in that last frame, eh?
Correct.
And when he went dry, I mean, that's a great clearance. Well, it got to the point where you were kind of running out of position, and you just basically laid the gauntlet, and you just said, right, you go for him. And if you can, and then obviously he's laid the.
My first shot, I went and obviously just played Kane. The kick is red, and I've ended up hitting me yellow and killed it.
Yeah.
And then I was digging myself a hole, basically, the feet was going, and then I just sort of put the yellow over in the middle. And I did, even though I've left to Jackie, I thought I didn't exactly play for that, but I thought just getting that vicinity, you know, it leave myself a shot, you know, cannon maybe as well. And then I don't think he actually seen it.
No.
And it was the first thing I looked at, you know, as soon as he went to play safe. Was the first thing I went and looked at, and it was on.
I saw you spot that straight away. Yeah. And then it was just about how it came out.
Yeah.
So, still a little bit smelly at the end. It just didn't come out quite nicely. But nothing's easy, is it?
The second last yellow, I was real twitchy, and I overdone the wide again, and then anyway.
You seem to be struggling with cue ball a little bit. Was that the table catching you out a little bit? Because it is just it's a touch faster, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. Just the pace, like. Back home, like I know I've said this prior, but when you come out, so I play on glass over here, so. You know, but obviously the more I play, you've just got to adapt, and you know you don't have to move the white, you know, as much. You know, you just got to be neater with it. Yeah. But yeah, just lucky I can pop balls maybe at the minute.
just quickly, your thoughts on the incident with the ref? Did that have a bearing at all?
It did. I just like it was a technical error. I forgot the ref's name, but I just sort of said. I did ask, can we ask Lee if there's actually an official ruling on this? Because at the end of the day, he's missed the ball. Yeah. You know, and again, I'm put back again, and then from the run to rack, I'm thinking, well, I don't agree with it, but you know, if it's a rule, and you know, is it Jill?
It's a tough decision to make, and it's a tough decision.
Yeah, and you know, she's an official, you know, referee. She goes based on my decision, sort of stands, and you know, don't get me wrong, I'm for sportsmanship and whatnot, but I just sort of thought, well. I don't know. Maybe I think there probably should be a ruling with it. Yeah.
Just one of those tough situations.
Yeah, and then
you know, not to focus on it. I mean, it's a lot of positives to come out of it.
Yeah, 100%.
Declan.
Yep.
We meet again. I mean, reigning champion, and you're carving through the field again. Just beating Jack Whelan. Yeah. Obviously, I haven't watched the game, but you seem to be in control of that. It came back at you a bit.
Yeah, he did. I was 9-4 up. I missed one ball to be 9-4 up, and he missed a black at 9-4, and I've made a meal of the frame, and I've ended up, he's got out of a couple of good snookers and stuff, and then he's ended up pinching that frame and getting the black in, go 9-5, I think it was 9-6, 9-7, and then you're under pressure then. Yeah. Well, I've done well to hold himself together and get over the line in the end.
I mean, you obviously went over to the losers section after winners 2, was it? And
yeah, I had 3 matches to go through the losers, and I didn't play. I played okay. Like I didn't play as well as I did the last tournament, but I still battled through and got here and sort of played well from start against Jack. So hopefully the form continues tonight. Maybe
sometimes going in the losers section is not so bad because it keeps you sharp, doesn't it? It gives you that extra table time.
Well, I recommend it.
I have an absolutely terrible record in the losers section. It really, after coming off a loss, I used to struggle trying to regroup again. But I seem to manage to do it this event, so that's pretty pleasing, to be honest.
Back to back for you?
Well, definitely, I've got a chance, haven't I?
For sure.
In the last 8 nights, there's no reason why I can't. But
you're the man in everyone's crosshairs at the moment, for sure.
There's a lot of good players still left, and Jake and the boys, they'll be dying to get me out, so just hopefully carry on.
Jay, I just want to mention one more thing to you. I don't want to put you on the spot.
Yep.
But there was a point there, I think it was 4 frames each. I just want to ask you first, how you're finding the tactical side of the rules. And it was really because for me, there was an obvious shot of 4 each. You've got ball in hand, you've got 2 yellows at the top of the table and a red over the pocket. For me, if you just drop the cue ball in between the 2 yellows, drop the yellow onto the red, pop the red, and you leave them snookered on the black. And you played a different shot. You've tried to pot in the corner and cannon the red in, and it's not come out, and ultimately that's cost you the frame.
Yeah, I do.
Is it just the sharpness of the rules that you're not seeing those, or was it a conscious decision?
I did actually. Now it's come back to me. I did see the shot.
Yeah.
But I just actually like potting the ball and playing the yellow into the red.
Yeah.
And going again. But now I look back, that is the right shot. You just cover the hole, get the snooker. And then provided he doesn't pot it, percentages.
You just leave him having a lash, don't you?
Yeah, and then, but I just sort of, and obviously where I had the white, and it was natural angle. I didn't have the white in the right spot, obviously, but it was just, I thought naturally I'm gonna pot the yellow. Yellow goes onto the red, and you clean them up. Yeah. Looking back at 4-all, you probably should play that shot. Percentage wise, you're going to win the frame more often than not. And like you just said, it cost me the frame. So, but it is a little tricky. Before I even flew out, the whole week I was away, at a tournament back home. It was just all world rules and that. And then I've walked straight into here, and then I do forget.
The thing is that there are a new set of rules still for everyone, and these kind of shots, they're still not in players' psyche. I said it in the last event. It's just about instinctively you see shots in blackboard or world rules because you're playing them on a day-to-day basis, and you have been for years. And suddenly you're in that situation where you've only. You might have only played 100 frames at this, and it's just not in the mentality yet.
I know some of the shots this weekend. I've thought about covering just smothering a ball. Yeah. Just world rules, but I'm like, it just doesn't work. I've had to just remind myself. It's more the attacking style. But anyway, we'll regroup and go again. Yeah. Hopefully, I'll see him.
It's great to see both of you so deep in the event, and we wish you the best of luck in your next game.
Thanks.
I think you've got
Jimmy
Croxton,
yep.
And that's going to be on the main arena table. So that's the next game up on table 16. Do you know who you've got? Jake?
No, mate.
I think it's Craig Waddingham. I think. Yeah.
Is it?
Yeah.
Craig.
Got it nailed. Look, you haven't had time to look at it yet, have you?
No, I haven't.
So coming up on table 16, you're going to see Declan against Jimmy Croxton. That should be a cracking game. Stick around for that one.